Alright, so welcome to the AoE guide, and I'm being chased. And this guy's gonna be how to AoE like a boss. You will not. Doomkins are not great at AoE. Or AoE is difficult, it's not great. It's not Hunter multi-shot lol. But, let's start with situation number 1. I have 3 dudes. The animated warrior needs to die, but we want to AoE those 2. Sod those 2. You're gonna Starfall, get into an Eclipse. I love mobs that knock back. You're gonna dot this guy and you might just dot those. But you want to focus on this guy. You don't need those 2 to die. It's not your job. Think about bats before tortoise. You want to kill the big ones that silence everybody. And you're not gonna do much with the rest. Because they're the small ones, and hunters will kill them, enhancement shamans, elemental shamans, and all these different classes, and of course tanks will AoE them. It's not your job to kill them, because you're not built for it. If there's a single mob that needs to die in an AoE pack, you're gonna focus on that freaking mob. Because otherwise you're useless. You want that mob dead. The other ones are not that threatening. They're not silencing everyone. They're just hitting on the tanks. That's why you have healers. So, kill the big bat. Ignore the other 2. When the bat is dead, then you can AoE. Now let's look at a different situation. I'm not gonna pull an offload because those dudes will kill me. Let's say we have... I'm gonna pull them with mushrooms. We have all these mobs, and we need to do something with them. So, if we need to AoE them fast, for instance, Windlord Melgerak in Heart of Fear, what you do is you get into Solar Eclipse, you pop... Oh, come on, these mobs are not the best. You pop Incarnation, and you start hurricaning. You may also place mushrooms up front. And once you have 15 seconds left, you're gonna pop Celestial Alignment. And now, either you can hurricane, but it's much better to just double dot everything, like that. You can do it with a single click or something, single use of a spell. So you want to double dot them. And then again, are any mobs more important? If they are, you're just gonna double dot everything and not hurricane. Just star search the most dangerous mob. That's the general idea. Now, normal AoE is pretty similar to this. Let's actually do it with mushrooms now. By the way, you don't want to cast mushrooms while in combat. If you can pre-plan them, okay, but if you cannot, they're not that great. It takes too much time to set them up, and Hurricane will be better. And also, again, as I've said in many of my videos, this is not a definite do this. This is just a recommendation that I found out as I've been playing Balanced Druid quite a bit. So let's say this dude is an AoE pack. Yeah, we have 10 mobs, they're not, important. So what we do, if we can pre-plan it, if we need to move for them, we're just gonna place the mushrooms while we're moving before we hit the solar eclipse. Then as the mobs come, we're gonna cast 1 Starfire Star Search, explode the mushrooms, and hurricane. This is the general idea. You cannot do much more. And this is very ineffective. It doesn't do an awful lot of damage. That's why I'm saying just leave the big AoE shiz to hunters. They're great at it. DKs are awesome at this kind of stuff. You're just not. You're a single target nuke. You're a freaking nuke, with feathers. Nah. And just leave it to the other classes. If you need to AoE, for instance, on like Lei Shen, last boss, Lei Shen, you need to AoE in the second phase, where he spawns the lightning orbs. What you do is you're spread out, so you don't get hit by the other orbs as they spawn, and you need to run underneath Lei Shen and AoE them down there. So what you do is, as they're about to spawn, that is Lei Shen, this Mogu dude, you do this. 1, 2, 3, well, 1 didn't have path. And then you can AoE your balls off. That's the best thing you can do. You can't do much more. it's not worth it to dot them because they die really fast, and that's another thing. If you're thinking about dotting in AoE situations, think about this. Are these dots gonna last their entire duration, or is the mob gonna die before that? If he's gonna die before that, then it's a definite no. Just don't dot those up. You're using 2 global cooldowns, and it's waste. You're wasting 2 global cooldowns, and as you get farther up the skill tree, as you start playing better and better, 2 global cooldowns are a lot. It doesn't seem like it, because you say, oh, you two global cooldowns, but when you think about a fight and you do this like every 30 seconds, and the fight lasts 5 minutes, that's a lot of global freaking cooldowns. So AoE situations, if your dots aren't gonna take for the full duration, don't. Just Hurricane. Now there's another situations when your tanks are shit or getting pounded to the ground really, really hard. What you want to do is be in Lunar. Again, bats on tortoise. When your tank can't stand the bats, they're hitting him really hard, you can help them with Astral Storm. Because Astral Storm increases the time between enemy attacks. So what you do, you get ready. Once again, Fire Starfall is gonna hit random stuff and Astral Storm the bats. That's about it. That's it. Everything done. You're not gonna do anything else. Now, next thing that kinda sucks about our AoE. As you can see, I did 2 Astral Storms. Let's see. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, and out of mana. At this point, you either need to stop AoEing. Usually, this is enough to kill the AoE pack, but if it's not, and this is gonna sound really bad, just stop casting spells. What I like to do is, I'm in Lunar, so I'm gonna dot everything with Moonfire, and then I'm gonna do this. Because it's faster than casting any spells, and you still need to AoE. It's better than casting any spells. Just get into Astral Communion, and as you're getting there, as the dots are ticking, they're gonna proc instant Star Surges. So pick the most valuable target, the most threatening one. If there isn't one, just fire off the Star Surges towards anything, it doesn't really matter. But pick the most just threatening target, or just the one that's about to die, or just random, it doesn't really matter. Oh good lord. And fire of the Star Surges there, and between the Star Surges use Astral Communion. You will usually not use Astral Communion, because if you dot like 6 targets and you have a mediocre crit chance, they're gonna die. Or no, they're not gonna die. I'm sorry. The Star Surges are gonna proc all the time. It's not gonna stop. You're just gonna be a beast. You're gonna be insta-giving everything. And you get into an Eclipse, you get 105,000 mana, and you're good. So that's the basic idea. I wasn't really sure how to explain this. But now, up to 3 targets, you just want to double dot everything and focus on your target, on the most threatening one or the one that needs to die. If it's 4, I am still in 2 minds whether it is beneficial to dot it. If you have Celestial Alignment, then it is, because you save basically 4 global cooldowns if you do it. You're gonna do it faster than double dotting 3. But 4 mobs, if you don't have Celestial Alignment, I would not dot them up. 3, yes. But 4, no. Definitely no. I see it on Council. I usually just don't dot Khazrajin. The first thing is, he's rolling around, so sometimes he's out of range. So I don't even bother with him. I just dot 3 of them, and I have Star Surges all day, all night, just firing them off, having about 500,000 DPS on pull, and I'm happy. So that's the basic idea. If you have 2 mobs, again, dot both of them up and just fire off whatever you have. Continue your rotation. When you have 4 mobs, just leave that one dude behind. But if you really need to AoE, just dot him up as well. But 5+, I would say it's hurricane time. Unless you really need to AoE, then blow your cooldowns. And just celestial, when you have celestial alignment, just double to all of them. And then just fire off star surges. Otherwise, it's just hurricane or astro storm time. And always try, if you have just a second, or more like 3, to pre-plan your mushrooms, do that. It's gonna make a huge spike, and it's gonna hurt them an awful lot, because they do quite a bit of damage if you're in solar eclipse. But if you're not, it's not really worth it. If you're about to enter lunar and you know at some point you're gonna get into solar, you can pre-plant your mushrooms anyway. They can stay there. They have a duration of what? 3 minutes, I think, or a minute or something like that. So you can pre-plant them quite far ahead. And that goes into another thing where you need to know what you're dealing with in the encounter. Because if you know what's going on, you can prepare for it. If you don't, then you're kind of boned and you're gonna be struggling. You're just gonna be confused of what's going on. First of all, you always need to learn the encounter if you want to do good DPS. Or in general on that encounter. So first of all, you need to understand the basics of your class. Then you need to learn the actual encounter so you know what's gonna happen. For instance, like on Magera, this is not an AoE situation, but anyway, on Magera, you know the head's gonna submerge. When you kill one of them, they're gonna submerge. So you prepare for it. You get yourself near an eclipse, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna cast the other spell to just not get into an eclipse. And when the head merges again, you have an eclipse straight off. You have your opening, you're good. That's the same thing with AoE. Doomkins are quite a dedicated class. They cannot be played well, in my opinion, if you don't enjoy yourself and if you just want to go brain dead. Because if you go brain dead and you're not watching what's going on and you don't know what's gonna happen in like the next 30 seconds, then you're gonna have a bad time because you're not gonna be prepared. And when you're not prepared as a Moonkin, it sucks really, really badly. But that's it for the AoE. I hope this was helpful in any way, shape or form. If it was, give me a like. Yeah, you want to, because you are the cool kid. Or a dislike if it wasn't helpful. I don't really care if you dislike a video. It's a thing a lot of people are like, okay, I'm subscribed to you, I should like your videos. No, if you don't like the video, then don't press the like button, because that doesn't make an awful lot of sense. And if you don't dislike the videos, then I have no clue that they're bad, or I could be doing them better. But anyway, thank you a lot for watching, and I will see you in another video. Goodbye.